What if the most powerful man in the room isn't the one shouting the loudest, but the one who says nothing at all? Welcome to Zenlight 8, where we uncover the raw, unfiltered truth about true strength, forged in silence, sharpened by discipline, and unstoppable by design. In today's video, we're diving into the Stoic Blueprint for 2025. How to move like a force of nature, command respect without begging for it, and build a life that speaks louder than words ever could. Buckle up. This isn't motivation, it's a wake-up call. Let's get to it. The silent forge of true power. Imagine a world screaming for attention, where every voice fights to be heard, every post begs for a like, and every man scrambles to prove he's worth something. In this chaos, the most dangerous man isn't the one yelling from the rooftops, waving his flag for all to see. No, it's the one you never hear coming. The one who builds in the shadows, moves with unshakable purpose, and lets his results roar louder than any words ever could. This is the man who wields true power, not because he demands it, but because he's earned it, forged it, carved it out of silence and discipline. Welcome to the art of acting in silence, the cornerstone of strength that doesn't need a spotlight to shine. Silence isn't just the absence of noise. It's a crucible where power is refined. Picture a blacksmith at work, hammering molten steel in the dead of night. Each strike is deliberate, each spark a step toward something unbreakable. That's what a stoic man does with his life. He doesn't waste energy on empty boasts or fleeting applause. He knows that every word spilled carelessly is a drop of power lost. Every plea for validation a crack in his armor. The world may crave his voice, his plans, his dreams, but he guards them like a king guards his throne. He understands that real strength grows in solitude, in the quiet moments when no one's watching, when the only judge is his own relentless standard. Think about the men who've shaped history. Men like Theodore Roosevelt, who didn't just talk about the strenuous life but lived it, charging up San Juan Hill and forging a legacy through action, not chatter. Or consider someone like Fred Rogers, whose gentle silence carried more weight than 1,000 speeches, touching millions with a presence that didn't demand attention but commanded it. These men didn't need to announce their worth. Their lives did the talking. They built empires, whether of nations or of hearts, in the quiet grind where lesser men would have crumbled under the weight of their own egos. Now pause and ask yourself, how much of your power have you given away? Every time you overshare your goals, seeking a nod of approval, you're handing over the keys to your destiny. Every moment spent chasing likes or arguing with doubters is a moment stolen from your craft. The world is a thief, eager to rob you of focus with its endless noise, gossip, trends, opinions that shift like sand. But the silent man? He's untouchable. He's too busy sharpening his mind, honing his skills, stacking brick upon brick until his vision stands taller than any critic's voice. He doesn't need to tell you he's coming for greatness. You'll feel the ground shake when he arrives. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being deliberate, like a river carving a canyon over centuries. Silence is your strategy, your sanctuary, your rebellion against a culture addicted to noise. When you choose to act without fanfare, you're not just building a project or a career, you're building yourself. You're sculpting a man who doesn't bend to fleeting trends or buckle under pressure. You're crafting a life that doesn't need validation because it's rooted in something deeper. Purpose. Purpose doesn't shout. It burns. It's the quiet fire that keeps you moving when the world tells you to stop, when the doubters laugh, when the odds stack against you. Let's get raw for a second. Life isn't a motivational poster, it's a battlefield. Every day, you're fighting for your dreams against a barrage of distractions, insecurities, and naysayers. The silent man doesn't waste bullets firing at shadows. He conserves his energy, picks his shots, and strikes with precision. He knows that every unnecessary word, every desperate grab for approval, is a wound he inflicts on himself. So he chooses differently. He trains his mind like a warrior trains his body, cutting away the fat of ego and doubt until all that's left is steel. Unyielding, unbreakable, undeniable. Picture this. A man waking before dawn, while the world sleeps. He's not posting about his grind or fishing for cheers. He's in his garage, his office, his mind, putting in work that no one will see for years. Maybe he's writing a book, building a business, or simply wrestling with his own demons to become a better father, friend, or human. Whatever it is, he's not doing it for applause. He's doing it because he knows who he's meant to be, and he's willing to pay the price in sweat, in solitude, in silence. That's the man who changes the game, not because he told you he would, but because he showed up and did. This kind of power isn't flashy. It doesn't glitter like a TikTok trend or buzz like a viral tweet. It's heavy, grounded, eternal. It's the weight of a life lived on your terms, not the world's. When you embrace silence as your forge, you stop being a pawn in someone else's story. You become the author, the architect, the master of your fate. You don't need to scream your worth because your work, your character, your results, they scream for you. And when they do, the world doesn't just listen. It bows. But here's the catch. Silence isn't easy. It demands courage to trust your path when no one's cheering. It takes grit to keep building when the spotlight's on someone else. It requires faith in yourself, a belief so fierce that no doubter, no failure, no moment of weakness can shake it. That's why so few choose this road. It's lonely at times, raw, unrelenting, but it's also where you find freedom. Freedom from the chains of approval, from the noise that drowns out your truth. Freedom to become the man you were born to be, not a shadow, not a copy, but a force. So today, make a vow. Stop leaking your power. Stop shouting into the void. Start building in silence. With every choice, every action, every moment you choose purpose over praise. Let the world underestimate you. Let them talk, laugh, doubt. They'll see soon enough, not because you told them, but because you became undeniable. Your silence isn't weakness. It's your weapon. Wield it, sharpen it, and watch how it carves a path to greatness. And yet, silence is only the beginning. If you want to protect the power you're forging, you need to guard something even more sacred, your vision. That's where we're headed next. Guard your vision. Stop explaining. Stop begging. You've forged your power in silence, hammering away at your purpose while the world drowns in its own noise. But there's a trap waiting to pull you back into the chaos. A subtle, seductive one that feels harmless until it's too late. It's the urge to explain yourself, to lay your dreams bare, to beg for a nod of approval from those who don't deserve to hear your story. Every time you justify your choices or seek validation, you're not just opening a door, you're handing over the keys to your soul. The Stoic man, the one who moves mountains, doesn't explain his path. He doesn't beg for permission. He protects his vision like a fortress and lets his actions speak louder than any defense ever could. Imagine your dreams as a flame, flickering in the dark, fragile but fierce. Every time you share it with the wrong person, someone who doubts, mocks, or dismisses, you're letting their cold breath snuff it out. It's not their fault. It's yours for trusting them with something sacred. The world is full of vultures, not always malicious, but always ready to peck at your ambition with their insecurities, their fears, their smallness. When you explain why you're chasing what you are, you're not convincing them, you're inviting their judgment. You're giving them a map to your heart and a knife to carve it with. And for what? A fleeting pat on the back? A half-hearted good for you that fades before the day's end? That's not power. That's surrender. Picture a man like Elon Musk in his early days, sketching out ideas for SpaceX while others laughed at the notion of private space travel. Did he sit in boardrooms pleading for approval, explaining every detail to skeptics? No. He worked, he built, he failed, and he kept going because his vision wasn't up for debate. Or think of someone closer to home, like your neighbor who quietly started a business while everyone else called it a pipe dream. Years later, when his name's on a storefront and his life's transformed, no one's laughing anymore. Those men didn't waste breath defending their path. They walked it, head down, heart ablaze, knowing that results don't need a press release. They demand attention on their own. Explaining yourself feels natural, doesn't it? We're wired to connect, to share, to hope someone sees us. But there's a difference between connection and confession. The former builds bridges. The latter burns them. When you spill your plans to someone who hasn't earned your trust, you're not building understanding, you're building doubt. Their raised eyebrow, their "are you sure?" plants a seed that grows in the quiet moments, whispering that maybe you're wrong, maybe you're not enough. And suddenly, you're not just fighting the world, you're fighting yourself. That's the real cost of seeking approval. It turns your inner fire into smoke. Now let's be real. We've all done it. You've told a friend about your big idea, hoping for a spark in their eyes, only to get a shrug or a warning about being realistic. You've posted a goal online, fishing for likes, only to feel empty when the algorithm buries it. Those moments sting, but they're also teachers. They show you that your vision isn't meant for everyone. It's yours, raw, messy, sacred. Guard it like a soldier guards a stronghold, not because you're arrogant, but because you're wise. You know that the people who truly matter, the ones who'll lift you up, don't need explanations. They see your fire and fan it without being asked. This isn't about cutting people off or living like a hermit. It's about discernment. Choose your circle like a king chooses his counsel. Share your dreams with those who've earned it, through their own grit, their own loyalty, their own unwavering belief in what's possible. And even then, share sparingly, because even the best allies can't carry your weight. Your vision is your burden, your gift, your fight. Let it grow in the quiet of your soul, where no one can touch it, twist it, or tear it down. There's a deeper truth here, one that hits hard when you're alone with your thoughts. Seeking approval is a betrayal of yourself. Every time you bend to someone else's expectations, you're chipping away at the man you're meant to be. You're telling yourself that their opinion matters more than your truth, that their doubts outweigh your certainty. That's not just weakness, it's theft. You're robbing yourself of the chance to become something greater, something undeniable. The Stoic man doesn't play that game. He stands tall, not because he's fearless, but because he's chosen his fears wisely. He'd rather face the unknown than the shame of living for someone else's applause. Think back to Marcus Aurelius, scribbling in his tent while Rome's weight pressed on his shoulders. He didn't run to the Senate to justify his decisions or beg the crowd to love him. He wrote for himself, wrestling with his doubts in private, sharpening his mind like a blade. "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be," he said. "Be one." That's the creed of the silent warrior. Don't explain your choices. Don't plead for understanding. Be the man who acts, who builds, who becomes, because that's the only argument that lasts. So here's your charge. Stop leaking your power. The next time you're tempted to explain your hustle, bite your tongue. When you feel the itch to post your progress for likes, close the app. Protect your vision like it's the last spark in a dying world. Move without permission, build without applause, and trust that your results will speak when the time is right. The world doesn't need to know your plans. They'll feel your impact when you're done. And when they do, they won't just see you, they'll revere you. But even as you guard your vision, there's another thief lurking, one that's louder, flashier, and far more seductive. It's the digital siren call of social media, and it's ready to drown your focus if you let it. Social media, the mind's silent poison. You've locked your vision away, safe from the world's prying eyes. You're moving in silence, building with purpose, becoming something greater. But there's a beast waiting to claw you back. A beast that doesn't roar but hums, glowing on your screen, whispering promises of connection, validation, and relevance. Social media, it's not just a tool. It's a trap, a glittering cage that turns men into beggars, starving for scraps of attention from strangers who don't know their names. The strong man doesn't dance for likes or crumble under trolls. He steps away, starves the beast, and reclaims his mind as his own. Let's cut through the noise. Social media isn't evil, it's a mirror. It shows you what you're chasing, what you're willing to trade for a fleeting high. Scroll through your feed and what do you see? A parade of curated lives. Each post a plea for relevance. Each comment a tug-of-war for status. It's a circus, and the price of admission is your focus, your peace, your power. Every minute you spend scrolling is a minute you're not building. Every dopamine hit from a like is a chain tightening around your soul. You're not just wasting time, you're surrendering your freedom to a machine that thrives on your weakness. Picture yourself an hour into a scroll session. Your eyes are glazed, your mind's a fog, and what do you have to show for it? A meme you'll forget by dinner? A stranger's opinion that's already fading? Meanwhile, your dreams sit untouched, gathering dust in the corner of your life. That's the real poison of social media. Not that it's bad, but that it's empty. It's a slot machine, rigged to keep you pulling the lever, chasing a jackpot that never comes. And the house always wins because while you're distracted, someone else is out there working, creating, becoming. Now, think about the Stoics, men like Seneca, who warned against the crowd's seductive pull. If he were alive today, he'd see social media for what it is. A digital coliseum where men fight for applause instead of survival. He'd tell you to walk away, not because it's beneath you, but because you're above it. Your mind is your fortress, your attention your gold. Why spend it on a game that's designed to drain you? Seneca didn't waste his days chasing Rome's gossip or craving the mob's cheers. He wrote, he thought, he built a legacy that echoes 2,000 years later. That's the kind of man you're meant to be, one who chooses substance over shadows. Let's talk numbers for a second, because the truth hits harder when it's clear. Studies show the average American spends over 2 hours a day on social media. 2 hours of liking, commenting, comparing. That's 700 hours a year, enough to learn a language, start a business, or master a skill. Imagine what you could build with that time, what you could become if you redirected that energy to your craft. Instead, most men trade it for a fleeting buzz, a thumbs up from someone they'll never meet. That's not power, it's addiction, dressed up as connection. But it's not just about time. Social media rewires your brain, and that's where the real damage lies. Psychologists like Cal Newport point out that constant scrolling trains you to crave instant gratification, to flinch at silence, to fear missing out. It turns you into a puppet, your mood swinging with every notification, your worth tied to a number on a screen. One day you're flying high on likes. The next, you're crushed by a snarky comment. That's not living. It's surviving, at the mercy of a crowd that doesn't care. The strong man doesn't play that game. He logs off, steps back, and chooses his own terms. This isn't a call to delete your accounts or live like a monk, though honestly, that's not the worst idea. It's about control. Use social media like a carpenter uses a hammer. For a purpose, then put it down. Share what matters, connect with intention, but never let it own you. Set boundaries, 10 minutes a day, an hour a week, whatever keeps your mind clear. And when you feel the pull to check your phone, to post for clout, to argue with a faceless troll, pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my power? Is this worth my peace? The answer's almost always no. There's a deeper cost here, one that cuts to the bone. Social media doesn't just steal your time, it steals your authenticity. It tempts you to perform, to polish your life into a highlight reel that's not really yours. You start living for the lens, not the moment. You chase trends instead of truth, likes instead of legacy. And slowly, without realizing it, you become a stranger to yourself. A man who's forgotten what he stands for, what he's fighting for. That's the ultimate betrayal, and it's one you can't afford. So picture this instead, a man who's free. He's not glued to his phone, not chasing the next viral wave. He's in his workshop, his gym, his journal, building something real. He's not shouting his wins or whining about his losses, he's too busy growing. When he does show up online, it's with purpose, not desperation. His presence carries weight because it's rare, deliberate, earned. That's the man who commands respect, not because he begged for it, but because he became it. Here's your mission. Starve the beast. Cut your screen time in half this week. Delete the apps that hook you hardest. Replace scrolling with creating, write, lift, plan, dream. Feel the withdrawal, the itch to check your feed, and let it pass. Because on the other side is clarity, focus, freedom. You're not here to be a digital ghost, haunting someone else's algorithm. You're here to build a life that echoes long after you're gone. Step away from the circus and watch how fast you rise. You've guarded your vision and freed your mind from the digital haze. But power isn't just about what you keep out, it's about what you let in. That's where the real battle begins, and it's one you can't afford to lose. Guard your mind like a fortress. You've carved out your power in silence, shielded your vision from prying eyes, and broken free from the digital chains of social media. But there's a war raging every day, one that's quieter, deeper, and far more dangerous than any external noise. It's the battle for your mind. The world is a relentless thief, not of gold or glory, but of your focus, your clarity, your soul. It bombards you with gossip, doubts, demands, each one a barb trying to pierce your defenses. The strong man doesn't let it in. He builds a fortress around his mind, unyielding and untouchable, and guards it like his life depends on it. Because it does. Your mind is your kingdom. It's where your dreams take root, where your will is forged, where you decide who you'll become. But the world doesn't respect that. It's a swarm of voices, friends with unsolicited advice, strangers with hot takes, headlines screaming for your attention. They're not always loud, but they're constant, creeping like vines, ready to choke your focus if you let them. A weak man leaves his gates wide open, absorbing every opinion, every worry, every whisper of chaos. He becomes a dumping ground for the world's noise, his thoughts scattered, his purpose diluted. But you're different. You're a sentinel at the gate, deciding what enters, what stays, what's cast out. Because if you don't rule your mind, someone else will. Picture a medieval fortress, walls towering against the sky, moat deep and dark. No army storms it without a fight. No intruder slips through unnoticed. That's how you must treat your mind. Every thought, every influence, every distraction has to earn its place or it's turned away. This isn't about being cold or closed off. It's about being deliberate. You don't argue with fools who drag you into their drama. You don't waste energy on gossip that's forgotten by tomorrow. You don't let the world's chaos dictate your peace. You choose what matters, your goals, your values, your grind, and you let everything else crash against your walls like waves against stone. Let's ground this in something real. Think about someone like Kobe Bryant, a man whose mind was a vault. He didn't let critics' doubts or teammates' egos derail his focus. When the media questioned his work ethic or his shot selection, he didn't fire back with excuses. He answered with championships. His mantra, the Mamba mentality, wasn't just about basketball. It was about locking out the noise and owning his thoughts. Kobe knew that the second you let someone else's opinion take root, you're no longer playing your game, you're playing theirs. And that's a game you'll never win. Now, look at your own life. How many times have you let a careless comment linger, turning it over in your head like a stone? Maybe it was a coworker's jab, a friend's doubt, or a stranger's snark online. It felt small at the time, but hours later, it's still there, gnawing at your confidence, stealing your focus. That's the world doing what it does best. Slipping past your defenses, planting weeds in your mind. The strong man doesn't let it happen. He catches those moments, calls them what they are, distractions, and cuts them off before they take hold. He knows his mind is too valuable to be a landfill for someone else's trash. This takes discipline, and discipline isn't sexy. It's not a viral clip or a motivational quote. It's a choice you make every day. The saying no to the group chat buzzing with negativity. It's ignoring the news cycle that thrives on fear. It's walking away from arguments that lead nowhere. Each no is a brick in your fortress. Each choice a lock on the gate. And with every boundary you set, you grow stronger, clearer, freer. You become a man who's not swayed by the crowd, not shaken by criticism, not distracted by the shiny lures of a restless world. There's a deeper layer here, one that hits when you're alone with your thoughts. Guarding your mind isn't just about keeping out the bad. It's about letting in the good. Feed your soul with ideas that lift you, stories that inspire you, knowledge that sharpens you. Read books that challenge your assumptions, like Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, where he built a fortress of purpose in the hell of a concentration camp. Surround yourself with people who don't drain you but fuel you. Mentors, peers, dreamers who see the fire in your eyes and hand you kindling. Your mind is a garden, not a battlefield. Protect it, nurture it, and watch what grows. But let's be raw. This isn't easy. The world's noise is relentless, and some days, it feels like you're holding up a shield against a storm. You'll slip, scrolling too long, arguing too much, letting a doubt creep in. That's human. The difference is what you do next. You don't wallow or surrender. You rebuild. You sweep out the clutter, reinforce the walls, and stand taller. Because every time you choose to guard your mind, you're not just surviving, you're claiming your power. You're saying, "This is mine, and no one gets to take it." So here's your charge. Start today. Audit your influences. What's getting past your gates? Cut one distraction, whether it's a toxic feed, a draining conversation, or a habit that clouds your clarity. Replace it with something that builds you. A book, a workout, a moment of stillness. Feel the weight lift, the focus sharpen. You're not here to be a sponge for the world's chaos. You're here to be a force unshakable and undeniable, with a mind so clear it cuts through the fog like a blade. Build that fortress, and nothing, not doubt, not noise, not failure, will ever conquer you. Let them underestimate you, then strike. You've fortified your mind, sealed it against the world's chaos, and reclaimed your power from the traps of noise and validation. Now, there's a secret weapon in your arsenal, one so potent it can shift the tides of your life without a single word. It's the art of being underestimated. Let the world overlook you. Let them laugh, doubt, or dismiss you as nothing. While they're busy judging, you're building, sharpening, becoming, until the moment you strike, not with noise, but with results so blinding they'll choke on their own disbelief. This is the Stoic's gambit: to thrive in the shadows, then dominate in the light. There's something electric about being unseen. It's not weakness, it's strategy. When the world underestimates you, it hands you freedom. Freedom to work without pressure, to fail without judgment, to grow without limits. The spotlight burns, but the shadows? They're where you forge steel. Think of a lion stalking through tall grass, unnoticed until its jaws close, or a storm gathering over the horizon, silent until it breaks the sky. That's you. Quiet, relentless, unstoppable. While others strut and boast, you're stacking wins in the dark, knowing the real flex isn't in the announcement but in the arrival. History is littered with men who mastered this. Take Abraham Lincoln, mocked as a backwoods lawyer with a funny accent. They called him awkward, unpolished, unfit for greatness. Did he argue or beg for respect? No. He studied, he spoke, he led, until a divided nation hung on his every word and a legacy was carved in stone. Or look at someone like J.K. Rowling, scraping by as a single mom, her manuscript rejected by publisher after publisher. They saw nothing special, but she saw Hogwarts. She wrote, revised, believed, until her world swallowed theirs whole. These weren't loud victories. They were quiet wars, won by those who let the world's blindness fuel their fire. Now bring it closer. You felt it, haven't you? The sting of being overlooked. A boss who ignores your hustle. A friend who doubts your dreams. A room that doesn't notice you walk in. It hurts, but it's also a gift. When they underestimate you, they're not just wrong. They're giving you space to grow unchecked. Every snicker, every shrug, every "he'll never make it" is a brick you'll use to build your empire. You don't need their faith, you need their ignorance. Because while they're distracted, you're becoming the man they'll wish they'd seen coming. This isn't about revenge, though the temptation's there. It's about discipline. The Stoic doesn't waste energy proving doubters wrong. He proves himself right. He doesn't react to insults or chase applause. He channels every slight, every doubt, into fuel for his grind. Picture yourself in a gym at midnight, lifting while the world sleeps. Or at a desk, writing code, sketching plans, studying markets. Whatever your battlefield, you're on it, alone, relentless. You're not posting your sweat for likes or whining about your struggles. You're building something so undeniable that when it's unveiled, the doubters won't just be silenced. They'll be irrelevant. Let's dig deeper. Being underestimated is a mirror. It shows you what you're made of. When no one's watching, do you still show up? When the cheers are absent, do you still fight? That's where character is born. In the quiet moments when the only witness is your own heart. The world loves a comeback story, but you're not here for their script. You're writing your own, and it's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving you right. Write about your potential, your grit, your vision. Every rep, every page, Every step forward is a vow to the man you're becoming, not the crowd you're leaving behind. There's a thrill in the strike, though, isn't there? That moment when the curtain falls and you step into the light, not as the underdog, but as the titan. Imagine launching your business after years of quiet hustle, watching jaws drop as clients flood in, or crossing a finish line, degree in hand, while those who doubted you scramble to catch up. It's not about gloating, it's about impact. Your success doesn't need a megaphone. It's loud enough to shake the ground. And when it does, you don't say, "I told you so." You don't need to. Your life says it for you. But here's the truth. The strike isn't the goal. It's the byproduct. The real victory is who you become in the shadows. The man who learns to love the grind, to thrive without applause, to trust his path when no one else does. That man is unbreakable, not because he won, but because he didn't need to be seen to believe. He's free not from doubt, but from the need to answer it. And that freedom, it's worth more than any spotlight, any crown, any cheer. So let them underestimate you. Let them laugh, roll their eyes, write you off. Smile, nod, and keep working. Stack your wins in silence. Sharpen your edge in the dark. When the time comes, and it will, don't just show up. Dominate, not with noise, but with a presence so fierce it rewrites their reality. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be legendary. And legends don't beg for a stage. They build one. You've learned to thrive in the shadows, but there's another move that seals your power. A choice so bold it shifts the world around you. It's time to talk about walking away and why it's the ultimate strike. Walking away, the ultimate power move. You've forged your strength in silence, guarded your vision, reclaimed your mind, and let the world's underestimation fuel your rise. But there's one move left, a single seismic act that can redefine your life with the force of a thunderclap. Walking away. It's not retreat, not surrender, but a blazing declaration of self-respect. When you leave behind toxic environments, relationships that diminish you, or situations that erode your soul, you're not just stepping back, you're stepping up. Your absence becomes a roar, louder than any argument, sharper than any comeback. It's the ultimate power move, and it's yours to wield. Walking away isn't just an action, it's a revolution. It's the moment you draw a line in the sand and say, no more. No more tolerating disrespect. No more begging for crumbs of validation. No more clinging to spaces that suffocate your spirit. The weak man stays, thinking he has to fight for his place, grinding himself down to fit where he's not wanted. He trades his dignity for scraps, convincing himself it's strength to endure. But the strong man? He knows better. He knows that staying in a cage, even one dressed up as comfort or familiarity, is a betrayal of everything he's built. So he turns, steps forward, and leaves because his worth doesn't need a debate. It's non-negotiable. Picture this. A man in a room full of voices tearing him down. Maybe it's a job where his work's ignored, a circle of friends who mock his dreams, or a relationship that drains his light. The air's heavy, the tension thicker than fog. He could argue, plead, try to prove he's enough. Instead, he does something radical. He walks. No shouting, no ultimatums, just the quiet click of a door behind him. And in that moment, the room shifts. His absence is a vacuum, a force that lingers long after he's gone. They feel it, the weight of losing someone who refused to shrink. That's power, raw and unshakable, born not from confrontation but from the courage to choose himself. Let's anchor this in reality. Think of someone like Steve Jobs, ousted from Apple, the company he built. He could have fought to stay, clawing for his seat at the table. Instead, he walked away, built next, and returned years later to transform Apple into a titan. His departure wasn't weakness. It was a masterstroke, a refusal to let a toxic moment define him. Or consider someone quieter, like a teacher who leaves a soul-crushing school system to start a community program, changing lives on her own terms. These are people who didn't just walk away. They walked toward something greater, their absence a spark that ignited new worlds. Now, turn the lens on yourself. Where are you staying too long? Maybe it's a job that grinds you down, a friendship that's more anchor than wings, or even a mindset that keeps you small. You feel it, the knot in your gut, the voice whispering you deserve better. Walking away doesn't mean burning bridges or storming out in a blaze of glory. It's deliberate, like a chess move that shifts the board. It's choosing your peace over their chaos, your growth over their limits. And when you do it, you're not just leaving, you're reclaiming. Reclaiming your time, your energy, your right to a life that honors who you are. There's a deeper truth here, one that cuts through the noise of pride and fear. Walking away is an act of faith, faith in yourself, in your vision, in the life you're building. It's admitting that some battles aren't worth fighting, not because you're weak, but because your strength is better spent elsewhere. The world will try to guilt you into staying, calling you selfish, cold, disloyal. Let them. Their words are chains, and you're not here to wear them. You're here to break free, to carve a path that's yours alone. Every step you take away from what dims you is a step toward what lights you up. But let's be honest, this isn't easy. Walking away feels like ripping out a piece of yourself. There's fear. What if I'm wrong? What if I lose everything? There's grief. For the time invested, the hope you poured in, the version of you that tried so hard to make it work. That's okay. Feel it, but don't let it stop you. Because on the other side of that fear is freedom. Freedom to rebuild, to rediscover, to become the man who doesn't just survive but thrives. Epictetus said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Walking away is that power in motion, a refusal to let the world's noise dictate your worth. Here's what makes it electric. Your absence speaks louder than your presence ever could. When you leave a toxic space, you don't just disappear, you shift the narrative. The people who dismissed you start to wonder. The ones who used you feel the void. Your silence becomes a mirror, forcing them to face their own limits while you soar beyond them. You're not running, you're rising, building something new, something true, something that doesn't need their approval to stand tall. And when they see you later, stronger, freer, unshaken, they'll know you didn't need them. You never did. So take this to heart. The next time you're stuck in a place that doesn't serve you, pause. Feel the weight, then let it go. Walk away, not with anger, but with clarity. Don't explain, don't apologize, don't look back. Your exit is your statement, your freedom, your victory. You're not here to beg for respect. You're here to embody it. And every step you take is proof that the strongest move isn't to fight for a broken system, but to build your own. 2025, the year of silent action. You've learned to walk away, to choose yourself with a courage that echoes louder than any shout. Now, as the calendar turns to 2025, you stand at a crossroads. The world's louder than ever, screaming with trends, opinions, distractions, but you have a choice. This can be the year you drown in noise, or the year you rise above it, building a life so powerful it speaks for itself. 2025 isn't about grand declarations or viral moments. It's about silent action, relentless, focused, unstoppable. It's the year to strip away the clutter, lock in on your goals, and become the strongest version of yourself. Not by announcing it, but by doing it. This isn't another New Year's pep talk. Resolutions fade, hype fizzles, and most men will stumble back into old habits by February. But you're not most men. You're the one who's been forging power in silence, guarding your mind, walking away from what doesn't serve you. 2025 is your proving ground, a chance to turn lessons into legacy. It's not about what you say. It's about who you become when the cameras are off, when the crowd's gone, when it's just you and the work. That's where greatness is born. In the quiet grind where no one's watching but everything's possible. Picture yourself a year from now. What do you see? A man who's stronger, wiser, freer, not because he chased clout, but because he chased truth. Maybe you've launched that business you've been sketching in notebooks. Maybe you've rebuilt your body, your relationships, your faith. Whatever it is, it's real, not a highlight reel. It's the result of 1,000 small choices, choosing discipline over distraction, purpose over popularity, action over excuses. That's the silent revolution of 2025. A year where you don't just dream, you do. Let's ground this in something bigger. History rewards the quiet builders. Think of Nelson Mandela, enduring decades in a cell, not shouting his cause but living it, until his silence reshaped a nation. Or consider the countless unsung heroes. Parents, entrepreneurs, artists, who changed the world not with fanfare but with grit. They didn't wait for permission or applause. They moved, day after day, trusting their work would outlast the noise. That's your call for 2025. To be the man who doesn't need a megaphone because his life is the message. What makes this year different? It's the stakes. The world's moving faster, louder, more chaotic. Distractions are slicker, doubts are heavier, and the pressure to conform is a tidal wave. But you've got the tools: silence, focus, discipline. Use them. Strip away what doesn't matter. The feeds that numb you, the habits that slow you, the voices that doubt you. Lock in on what does: your health, your craft, your legacy. Every choice is a brick in the monument you're building. Every step a rebellion against a world that wants you small. Here's how you start. Today, pick one thing, one goal that sets your soul on fire. Not 10, not 5, 1. Write it down, not to post, but to own. Then break it into steps so small they're undeniable. Want to get fit? Start with 10 push-ups. Want to write a book? Write 1 page. Want to rebuild your life? Forgive 1 grudge. Small doesn't mean weak. It means real. Stack those wins, day after day, until they're a mountain no one can ignore. And do it quietly, not for likes, not for cheers, but for you. Because the man you're becoming doesn't need an audience. He needs results. There's a fire in this, a raw, electric truth. 2025 isn't promised. Life's fragile, time's finite, and every second you waste on noise is a second you'll never get back. So seize it. Make this the year you stop explaining, stop scrolling, stop settling. Make it the year you move with a purpose so fierce it scares you, a focus so sharp it cuts through doubt like a blade. Let the world chatter, let them chase trends, let them underestimate you. You're not here for their game, you're here for yours. And when December rolls around, you won't need to tell anyone what you've done. They'll see it. In your eyes, your stride, your unshakable calm. They'll feel it in the weight of your presence, the kind that doesn't demand attention but commands it. You'll be the man who didn't just survive 2025. You owned it, not with words, but with a life so bold it rewrites the stars. So go. Start now. The world's waiting to meet the man you'll become. Not because you told them, but because you showed them. You stand now at the edge of a new beginning, armed with the tools to carve a life of unshakable power. You've learned to forge strength in silence, to guard your vision like a sacred flame, to free your mind from the digital haze, and to build a fortress against the world's chaos. You've embraced the art of being underestimated, letting your results strike like lightning, and discovered the courage to walk away from what dims your light. And as 2025 unfolds, you've claimed this year as your own, a year of silent action, where every step, every choice, every quiet moment of grit builds a legacy that speaks louder than words ever could. This is your revolution, not one of noise or fanfare, but of purpose, discipline, and relentless growth. The world will keep screaming, tempting you to join its chaos, to chase its fleeting applause. But you're different now. You've seen the truth. Real power doesn't beg for a spotlight, it creates one. You're not here to blend in, to shrink, to settle. You're here to rise, to become a man whose presence shifts the air, whose life is a testament to what's possible when you choose yourself over the crowd. Every lesson you've carried from this journey, silence, focus, courage, is a spark. Fan it. Let it burn bright enough to light your path and inspire those who dare to walk their own. This isn't the end, it's the dawn. 2025 is your canvas, and you're the artist, the warrior, the architect. Paint boldly, fight fiercely, build fearlessly. The man you're becoming doesn't need permission or praise. He needs action, the kind that's steady, deliberate, unstoppable. So take everything you've learned and run with it. Let the world catch up when you're already miles ahead, standing tall, not because you shouted your worth, but because you lived it. The revolution starts now, in the quiet of your heart, where no one can touch you and nothing can stop you. Life today is a whirlwind, screens flashing, voices clamoring, expectations pulling you in every direction. It's easy to lose yourself in the rush, to let the noise drown out your truth. But you don't have to. Start small. Carve out 5 minutes each morning to sit in silence. No phone, no distractions, just you and your thoughts. Let it ground you. Choose one thing each day that moves you toward your goal, even if it's just a single step. A page written, a rep lifted, a kind word spoken. And when the world tries to drag you into its chaos, pause, breathe, ask yourself, does this serve who I'm becoming? If it doesn't, let it go. Protect your peace like it's your greatest treasure. Because it is. Live deliberately, not perfectly, every choice is a chance to reclaim your power. If this journey has lit a fire in you, join us at ZenLight8 to keep it burning. Hit that like button to fuel your commitment. Subscribe to stay locked in for more raw, real wisdom, and drop presence in the comments below. It's your vow to live here, now, fully awake to your power. Let's build this revolution together, one silent, unstoppable step at a time.